9 News at 5 starts right now.
It is a huge sports night in the Mile High City. From the Broncos and Nuggets to the Denver Summit FC, there is simply a ton going on. Thanks so much for joining us at 5. I'm Evan Krugel. Sky 9 caught all the fans tailgating and heading into Mile High for the big game earlier today. Right now, the score 24-23, Buffalo on top of the Broncos by 1 point. We are in the fourth quarter, so the game should be wrapping up soon. Stick with us for all of your post-game coverage. Denver's newest professional sports team is officially coming together. Today marked the first full team media availability for Denver Summit FC, and the first time the entire roster met in person as the expansion club prepares for its inaugural season in the National Women's Soccer League. 9 News reporter Ria Jha joins us now after speaking with the players and coach. Ria, really exciting time as this team gets underway.
Super exciting. We're right outside Dick's Sporting Goods Park, and this is where Denver Summit FC will be hosting their first stretch of home games. And while the team hasn't actually gotten to kick around the soccer ball with each other yet, today was about meeting each other, meeting the team. The team hosted a hat making event together this afternoon, but the hats weren't the point. The energy was obvious inside the room. It really marked the moment this expansion club officially started to feel real. For many players, it was also the first time meeting their teammates face to face. And while they haven't taken the field yet, head coach Nick Cushing says moments like this matter just as much as training, because for him, a winning team requires culture to come first.
At the moment, it's just about learning about each other, getting to know each other. And the one thing that I said to our team is we need full commitment. We need full commitment from everybody to get to know each other as quick as possible, to blend our teams.
It was also Denver Summit FC's first full team media availability, giving us our first real look at how quickly this roster came together. Players and coaches talked about building a team from scratch, including the impact U.S. women's national team captain Lindsay Heaps joining the club and the level of support they didn't expect to see this early on.
To be the first women's professional sports team here is such a special moment for me as a native Coloradan, and I know we have a lot of players. Every single player in that room is so excited to represent this city. And
the day that I signed, I had my Denver Summit shirt on, and I had 3 people stop me and say my name, and I have never had that in any other place. The fact that people know you here means that it's such a big sports city, and that is like so exciting for a brand new team.
Season tickets months before their season has even started, and while they will be playing their first few home games here at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, their first ever home game will be at Empower Field on March 28th. This weekend, the team heads to Santa Barbara for their preseason camp before returning to Denver in February for their season starting. Reporting live in Commerce City, Ria Jha, 9 News.
That team has so many fans already. Should be a great season. Thanks, Ria. Taking a live look outside, this is over Empower Field at Mile High. Barely a cloud in the sky today, but it was a chilly kickoff, and those cold temperatures are set to stick around. Weather Impact meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen joins us now. Corey, I heard every single Broncos home game this year had a kickoff above 60 degrees until today. So it finally feels like January, at least a little bit.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, we get to the playoffs and then all that changes. Yeah, it was the warmest regular season, and today we didn't even make it to 40. Take a look at this beautiful live camera shot here over the city of Denver, currently in the 30s. Second day in a row where our high temperatures were in the 30s, and we'll be right back there likely on Monday, or at least really close. We'll have a decent Sunday and then another batch of Arctic air coming in here on Monday. We could see some snow flurries and likely some snow accumulation around the city. So the Parade and the Stock Show are in for a very cold Monday, sandwiched by a couple of nice days. Temperatures tomorrow morning are going to be cold once again. Not quite as cold as they were this morning, but pretty close with those temperatures in the teens and 20s. As far as that snow that we're expecting on Monday morning, it's not going to be a big one. It'll be pretty quick, 0 to 1 inches. So some of us might not get anything, and some of us could get up to an inch. So that's the forecast for now. I'll have more details on how that snow is going to develop and the timing coming up in just a few minutes, Evan.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Corey. Well, because of those high winds yesterday, XL planned several power outages. At one point, upwards of 19,000 people were without power. But some good news as of this morning, XL says all of their power is back on. Today, people gathered on the steps of the Capitol building to protest ICE and the killing of Renee Good in Minnesota. 9 News photojournalist Mark Zaletta heard from one group that was notably louder than others, using their talents instead of their voices to be heard.
Yeah, so we go to C, and then whatever the last note is you play before C, hold that as a fermata. So I'm Nathan. Can I get a tuning note real quick? We're Notes of Dissent. We are an activist band who comes out to all sorts of protests like this to help inspire folks, to bring joy to resistance. It was planned before the killing of Renee Good, but that just added fuel to the fire. And so we're out here protesting the injustices that ICE is doing in Minneapolis right now. Our band as a whole is just people that come out and want to do something. When you're trying to fight against fascism and all you have is a clarinet, and I'm like, that sounds exactly like a thing I want to do. A marching band at a protest? Absolutely, because I was trying to get out there, same as everyone else, just what can I do? Music is always a tool of politics. On the one end of the spectrum, like Rage Against the Machine, talking about literally in their name, raging against the machine with their music. Different styles of music can bring people together in different ways. It's really re-inspired my music in my life. And I know I speak for most of the band, frankly, when I say that it did bring music into their lives, back into their lives. Having a skill like playing an instrument and being able to go out and do something with it and actually use it for good it's incredibly fun. Woo! Good job, everybody!
That was 9 News photojournalist Mark Zaletta. Notes of Dissent formed last year in April ahead of the No Kings protest that was held July 4th. They've been going to other protests ever since. Commerce City police say they stopped a man for speeding overnight and found a dead woman in his car. He reportedly told police that he got into a crash earlier in the night, causing this damage to the car you see on your screen right now. The man says he brought the damaged car to his house, switched into another car, and tried to drive the woman to the hospital. That's when he was pulled over for speeding. He's now in custody. He is not being identified and has not been charged yet, but police say potential charges could include vehicular homicide. Colorado is formally appealing the Trump administration's denial of federal disaster declarations. They denied the state's request over the Elk and Lee fires and the flooding in western Colorado. FEMA said the damage from the fires and flooding was not severe enough for disaster declarations. The Lee fire is the 5th largest in state history, burning more than 137,000 acres. The Elk fire tore through nearly 15,000 acres. The governor's office says the fires caused a combined $27 million in damages, and the flooding in western Colorado caused some $13 million in damages to roads and infrastructure. In December, Governor Polis petitioned the Trump administration to reconsider. Now the state has formally submitted an appeal. The men's head basketball coach at the Air Force Academy has been suspended indefinitely. Today, the school said Joe Scott is being investigated for the treatment of cadet athletes. Air Force did not go into any more detail on the investigation, but they still hosted a game with Nevada today. Assistant coach John Jordan will serve as the interim coach in the meantime. Scott led Air Force to the NCAA tournament in the 2003-2004 season. Before leaving for Princeton, he returned to the school in 2020 and has been the head coach ever since.